everybody, welcome to UA Day 2! All right, how was that trail yesterday? Little different than what some of us are used to. I had a really fun time, I hope you did too. That was a great park. With that, I'm gonna hand it over to Trent to let you know a little more what we're in store for.
So yesterday was a trail day, so today is supposed to be what?
Road day.
More trail day. Don't count on it.
Radio check, can you guys hear me? Radio check, 1, 2, 3. I got you licking chicken, how me?
Day 2 has us putting Wilton, Maine in the rearview mirror, and we're heading about 35 miles west, where we have a little surprise for our road day.
Alrighty guys, welcome to the Dragon's Tail.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to Bethel, Maine. As some of you may know, I grew up in Massachusetts. There's a ski resort right over there. I love Bethel, and I've been wheeling with the Bethel Maine Mountain Jeepers a couple times in the past. So, and with that, I will hand it off to Trent.
All right. So, like I said, we're in Bethel, Maine. This is Jim Bennett. This is Jim's property that he was kind enough to let us come and play on today. And then also Lorraine and Jean from the
Western Maine Mountain Jeepers.
Yeah. We just wrapped up the driver's meeting and we are about to drop into the Dragon's Tail. It's a piece of private property that's just outside of Bethel, Maine.
Okay, your mirrors have made it through. Keep coming straight towards me.
Now the trail consists of dense woods and a winding little 2-track that goes through the trees, washes, gullies, and all of that's on the side of a hill. In other words, it's the perfect place for ultimate adventure.
Got a little surprise impromptu wheeling during our road day on a trail called the Dragon's Tail. It is super windy and the forest is so dense you can barely see the rigs like 30 feet away. But so far it's been pretty challenging and fun. It's a lot of tight, windy trails with trees just right there and big rocks. So, woo-wee. Nice little surprise.
Going great. This thing's working well and the terrain's awesome. I'm just gonna keep closing my eyes and letting the vehicle take me wherever it wants to go. Everything's self-driving nowadays.
All these luxury vehicles nowadays are self-driving.
I want that tire. Climb that rock right there.
We're here with Jim Bennett from the Western Maine Mountain Jeepers. And Jim, why don't you tell us a little bit about this piece of property you have here?
There's a lot of hard obstacles, a lot of technical rock climbing. There's a little bit of mud in a couple places, but 95% of it is all rock. We have 50 acres here. This trail is probably only covering 5 acres.
How does someone find out more about the club?
You can go to the website, which is jeepmaine.com, all one word. We ride every month, whether it's winter or summer.
Wheeling in Maine, highly recommended. We're having a blast. Jim, thanks for hooking up.
Oh, thank you very much for everybody coming, and really hope everybody's enjoying it.
Well, not a bad wheeling day for a road day. We had a great time on the Dragon's Tail, but we're airing up now because we got to be at a certain place at a certain time. We don't have a lot of time to get there. One of the most iconic drives in New England is the Mount Washington Auto Road. Now, Ultimate Adventure couldn't be in the neighborhood and not do the auto road, right?
We're on top of Mount Washington in the great state of New Hampshire. What's really cool about this is it's the second highest peak east of the Mississippi. It's 6,000 some hundred feet. This is one of the epic drives in the world. It's a private road, you drive from the bottom, it takes about half an hour, 8 miles, and it's really, really worth it. It's cold up here because we're so high. Even though it's almost July, we're talking probably about 30 degrees. Wind chill maybe about 20, but it's still worth it because this is a bucket list place for anybody to drive.
It's sunset on the auto road. We are headed down where it's going to be warmer, but it's been a great day. Beautiful, beautiful 100-mile view. Couldn't ask for more.
Drivers meeting!
Welcome to UA Day 3. I hope everyone had a good time on our road day yesterday. I like locking hubs on road days. I hope everyone also enjoyed the trip up the Mount Washington Auto Road. Once again, Trent's hitting it out of the park.
Like I said, sorry it was a bit of a later night, but I think it was worth it considering we got to see the sunset on the top of Mount Washington. That was pretty rad.
On the top of the East Coast.
So let's see, yesterday was a road day, so today is a trail day, so maybe let's go run some trails. Finish packing up because we roll at 7:30 sharp. This morning's destination is the Jericho State Park, which is just outside of Berlin, New Hampshire. Now, a long-time destination for quads and motorcycles, we're here to visit an entirely different section of the park.
This is an excellent time to air down, and then we're going to do some four-wheeling.
I like low gears. I like low gears.
I like low.
You like low gears.
I like low.
Cummins Steve is driving today. Cummins Steve's driving tube sock. Very excited. Cummins Steve is very excited to drive in a Cummins powered tube sock.
Well, we're here at the Jericho State Park, and I'm with Mark Pouliot. Mark, tell us a little bit about this area.
Okay, this is the Jericho State Park for 4x4 Jeeps and trucks. It's the only public access land use trail in New Hampshire that is on state property. Northwoods Off-Road is the host club that helped facilitate and construct the trails from beginning to where it is in its current state.
This is state-sponsored, this is state land. I understand you were a big part of making this happen. What kind of hoops did you have to jump through to make this area take place?
Well, starting in 2007, we had to start submitting legislation at the state level to get permission from the state. We work with the Trails Bureau very closely on erosion control and things of that nature to make sure everybody's happy and working together.
The Northwest Club takes care of this property.
We do.
Basically manages it. This is awesome, Mark. Well, you've done a heck of a job here.
Well, this was one of the first hills and obstacles that cut in the trail. And it's eroding quite well. Turning into a challenge for a lot of people that try to come up this trail here. Developing its own characteristics, which is the best part of wheeling.
Pulling cable right out of the gate means that Jericho is no joke.
Amazing trail with lots of really big rocks. We just came up a really steep rock obstacle with a hug it to the right side and pray that you make it. I did not make it almost all the way and had to pull cable, but Warren helped me out at the spot and I made it all the way up, thank goodness.
Though there's not a lot of elevation change in the 4x4 section of Jericho, there are plenty of big boulders and ledges, and each of these presents their own unique challenges.
We're wheeling Jericho Mountain State Park. This is split rock. It's definitely the hardest obstacle here.
The key to split rock was avoiding the big diff catcher right in the middle of the trail. Now Vern took the wheel of the Range Rover to see if he could figure out the right line. Just the right amount of throttle, at just the right time, did the trick.
Yeah, we just went up this obstacle, super off camber, really good traction, and I almost had it and about laid it on its side. And these falcons just kept gripping and pulling and about sent me over, so we had to get the winch out, hold it down. It made it.
Readers Johnny and Amber have fully gotten into the UA groove, and they have had a remarkably trouble-free trip so far. Here's what happens when you let Tommy behind the wheel.
We lost the fuel pump, we think. We lost it, whether it's a fuse got knocked out, we came down hard on a rock. It'll crank, but it's not, we're not getting our fuel pump going.
It ain't gonna go no further. It should just roll over.
Meanwhile, JR and Dillard were having problems of their own. A hidden hole in just the wrong spot caused the Skyjacker Bronco to take an unexpected spill. Unfortunately, the only casualties were a wing window, a bruise on the passenger fender, and maybe a little pride. It would appear that Jericho was the unofficial spot for the co-drivers to take the wheel.
Tanner's doing great. Little Jeep's climbing right up to everything. Track tires are working good. Cummins has got the torque right when we need it. Even with all of our gear in there, the little Jeep's working great.
Well, in New England, it's unfortunate that it's just a whole bunch of private land, and this is one of the few areas where you can legally go four-wheeling on a publicly accessible area. So if you guys are in New England or visiting New England or whatever, I highly recommend you coming and checking out the Jericho State Park. Well, Mark, this was incredible. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, thank you for coming up.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. You have a good trip.
Thanks, man.
Stay safe.
After getting just a small taste of what Jericho had to offer, we hit the road again for another kind of adventure and a different kind of ride.
We're gonna go on the Alpine slide. Rick's getting it.
Shockingly, everyone who took a turn down the slide still had full use of all their appendages when they were done. Now the much-needed break also gave some people the chance to make some roadside repairs.
All right, so as you can see here, this is my Eaton HO72. It's like a 14 bolt with a dropout third. I felt something wasn't right. It was heating up, pulled the axle shaft, and it twisted, but it never actually broke. That's a 60-year-old axle shaft, and luckily I have a spare.
Back on day one, the ring and pinion broke on Cooper's howitzer while he was winching crony Dave Chappelle.
You can see the ring gear there, but
welded up good.
You can see a couple teeth, but you can't really get into it.
After waiting a day for parts, the Off-Road Power Products crew stayed back at Jim Bennett's shop to swap in some new gears.
We got a new ring and pinion in the front. It's got a good pattern. Seems all good to go. You guys up here in Maine are awesome. Thank you, Jim, for letting us use your shop. Put it on the ground. We're going to hit the road and catch up to the group.
Back on the road, we had one more destination before camp, and like usual, we were way behind schedule. Now, winding through the beautiful scenery of the Kankomagus Highway, we eventually landed at our second off-road park of the day in Warren, New Hampshire.
Drivers meeting!
All right, guys, welcome to the Mountain Mud Run. This is John and Brenda. They are the owners of the property. I actually found this place kind of late in the game and was able to just kind of squeeze in. So we're just going to get kind of a little taste of the park.
We have 63 acres. We have 12 miles of trails on the 63 acres. Of those 12 miles, there's probably a mile and a half nobody's ever been on. So if you find those, you get bonus points.
Instead of the usual follow the leader, everyone spread out. Some explored the trails. Some played in the enormous rock garden. And some even went for the mud bottom. As usual, a few were tending the necessary repairs from the first 3 days. Don't forget, there are 4 more days of hard wheeling to come.
One of the best parts about Ultimate Adventure is everyone's here to help each other out, make it through the week. Got Chris Durham under there welding on my rig. The man is a legend in the world of off-roading. It's an honor to have him in there fixing my junk. It's almost done. We'll be back wheeling in no time.
So the radiator got a hole in it coming down the hill, so we're going to cut here and here. Take this up so we can take the radiator straight out because we can't get the fan off because it has 330,000 miles on it and it's probably never been out.
This right here, this leaky thing,
we can fix
that's
those.
the problem. It's not going to work like that.
Yeah, this turned out not to be so bad after all. Pinch them off, put some epoxy on it, put it back in, and make it to Camp 4 at midnight. Get it back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, and thank you for the medal.
Pip pip cheerio, right? Is this the road to Suriname, or perhaps Borneo? We're searching for elephant and indigenous tribes people.